the CN Tower. Okay. Welcome to the podcast. We locked in right now. If you're not locked in, you're crazy. But we're going to talk about what needs to be talked about because what is being talked about is not being talked about enough. As you guys know, the infamous beef between Kendrick Lamar as well as Drizzy Drake has been the talk of the town since almost coming up on a year. Now, everybody thought this beef was over simply because Kendrick had the Super Bowl victory. Ironically, the Super Bowl halftime show. Everybody thought it should have went to Lil Wayne, deservedly so. But you guys know the NFL is about selling tickets, and how do they do that? By getting the most hyped rapper at this point in time. Now, a lot of people would say Drake was buried. He was buried alive. Simply because everyone thought that, hey, he did something that is Kendrick Lamar that has never been done before. And that is beat Drake at his own game. But it didn't happen. Everybody thought it was going to be the end of Drizzy Drake. But guess what? Drake addresses the Kendrick beef on a new song, Give Me a Hug. And what's ironic about this song is when you go to the track list on Rap Genius, this is not the end all be all, but it gives you a good idea of what song is hot at the moment in terms of who's on Rap Genius and just as a whole. It's not the end all be all, but just as a whole, you can go to Rap Genius or Genius, formerly known as Rap Genius, or most people know it as Rap Genius. Now it's just Genius, but it is what it is. Because now they do a lot more genres just other than rap. So it's no longer known as Rap Genius. It's known as Genius now. Now, CN Tower, as you guys know, is the kickoff song on the album. The most important song because it sets the tone of the whole entire album. Now, me personally, I'm seeing a lot of mixed reviews in the comment section, but mostly between people who are not even fans of Drake. Because if you're a fan of Drake and you're a fan of his artistry, you appreciate this album. In my opinion, I don't think this is an album. It shouldn't have been an album. It should have just been a mixtape. But you guys know these days, in order to make money as an artist, you got to release albums. The day and age of releasing mixtapes is pretty much over. But I consider this more of a mixtape simply because, in my opinion, an album, this is my opinion. I recognize a piece of artistry from an artist, a musical artist. I recognize it as an album if it has interludes, intros, outros, skits, and from start to finish, it takes you on a journey. It's just not a bunch of not number one songs. It's just not a bunch of random songs put together as this project is. But this project, it feels more like a mixtape because a mixtape actually shows an artist's, musical artist's range in terms of their musical gift. And this is what that does for me because Give Me a Hug is not like the CN Tower. And also to Padre, I think, where's the Hispanic vibe song at? Is it called Padre? I forgot the actual song. I'm still listening to it, but to say it's the album of the year is this. I mean, what album has been released at this point in time that has everybody talking like this? When you got mixed reviews, so it just dropped Friday. Ironically, less than a week after the Super Bowl ended, not even a couple of days after the Super Bowl ended, which was a great strategy by Drake. He's on tour currently, and I'm pretty sure he's got the numbers right there in front of him to see what is doing what. But Give Me a Hug is basically the best song on the album. It's the best song, and it shows Drake's versatility. Now, as I'm seeing mixed reviews from people saying that they don't like this quote unquote album, and some people saying they like it, some people saying that it's too much singing, but Didn't y'all just say like less than a year ago that y'all love singing Drake and y'all hate rapping Drake? And mind you, this is probably setting up for Drake's solo album, which I'm waiting on. I appreciate this project simply because it's showing y'all that Drake ain't going nowhere. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, and he's here to stay. And is finally, fans of Drake can actually breathe a sigh of relief right now, seeing as though you got "Give Me a Hug" and you can go to Rap Genius. I'm gonna call it Rap Genius. It started out as Rap Genius. I'm gonna call it Rap Genius. You can go to Rap Genius and see exactly what I'm looking at right now. Now, let me see. What was the song? What was the song? I wanna bring that up because it just shows the range of Drake's skill. And a lot of people hate him for doing this because they say he's biting cultures and this, that, and the third. When you got to understand, Toronto has a lot of Caribbean culture within it. And Toronto is a very diverse city, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of like Miami. You go to Miami, you get African, you get Asian, you get Dominican, you get Cuban. I kind of view it like that. It's a very diverse culture, city. And I'm finna find that song. Hold up. I thought it was on here. Oh, there it is, right there, right in my face. I don't see it on here though. Lasers, where's lasers? Oh, it was right in my face. This song just shows Drake's versatility. It was right in my face the whole time. I want to meet your madre, pay my respects to your padre, mi amor. And that's all y'all gonna get. You gotta listen to the album yourself. Now, me personally, like I say, I consider it more of a mixtape just because, dare I say it, without biasness, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. But I guess that's Drake's ability to show you guys that, hey, we're Party Next Door. He's still around. And a lot of people say I don't write my songs. I don't write my own music, this, that, or third. When we know Drake has written for countless of artists. It's crazy. He's even written for Beyonce. And y'all expect him not to have at least one person write. It's crazy. But overall, this just shows Drake's range. Now, you give me one of Kendrick's projects that matches up to this in terms of range. And like Give Me a Hug shows you Drake's. And since we on the subject, let me just show you how he went crazy on this one. This personally is my favorite, and is technically everybody. It seems like when you look at the critics and what they're saying in the comment sections and just in general, talking heads, they're saying this is the best song on the album. Give Me a Hug, track 10. In my opinion, I think it is too. But who am I? I'm gonna skim through it. But
Drake, I appreciate the fans rocking with me. This is really just a small token. Really fucking with a visionary. Only reason I ain't got a girl and I ain't get her shooting Molly like she flying for the military. This girl face so pretty, I can only think of fucking that'll really do it. Savage, you the only nigga checking on me when we really in some shit, brother. But listen for you a legend from the six. Hate to see you with a dick sucker. Give me a hug. What can I say? I miss you, girl. I'm stuck in
3 different flows on one song. Insane work by Drake. But moving further into this discussion, Kendrick Lamar's halftime show performance, it was amazing. Now, I'm not one of those people to sit here and say and hate on him, but I gotta pick a side. You gotta pick a side. You can't be in between. You say you're gonna be in between, but it's either one or the other. And through and through, if you're new here, you probably don't even know that I chose Drake's side, and I still think Drake won overall, simply because it started out as a 3v1, and on top of that, you had other rappers chiming in, which then it turned into a 20v1, and it was just Drake by himself. It was supposed to be Drake and J. Cole versus Kendrick Lamar, Future, and Metro Boomin. That's how it was supposed to be. But J. Cole backed out, and deservedly so, because, Kendrick, he was coming with the fire. And Drake came with the fire too, but people will swear that Kendrick just won. And you can say what you want to say. Say it. But I'm going to sit here and say this is my hot take. And that's why I named my podcast Hot Take. Because there's a lot of people out there with hot takes, but the hot takes are kind of delusional. My hot takes are not going to be delusional. They're going to be based solely on hyperbole, probability, metaphorically, entorically, whatever word you want to use, it's going to have some substance to it, my takes. So, Drake has not lost. It wasn't an L. You could say he lost, but overall, when you look at it from an Eagles perspective, a lot of people say bird's eye view. I'm going Eagles eye view. You look at the whole thing. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance, it was aight. It wasn't like Michael Jackson's. It wasn't like Janet Jackson, even though she had to slip up. But it wasn't memorable. It was more forgettable than anything. And next year, I hope they go away from hip hop and give us like a pop artist or some other artist other than rap or hip hop. Please, can we get that? Now, looking at this thing, Kendrick Lamar's performance, he could have, I was hoping he did a lot of songs from Good Kid, Mad City, which by far is my favorite Kendrick Lamar's project. And he hasn't dropped anything to come close to it. Now, To Pimp a Butterfly could have been that, but it had too many skips. Damn, had too many skips. Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City, no skips. Through and through. And I consider that an album because of what I said earlier in the stream. To be considered an album for me, I gotta have some type of... I gotta have... Emotionally, I gotta have a connection to it. Musically, it's gotta have some skits. It's gotta have some interludes, some intros, some outros, some preludes. It's gotta show an artist's ability to create a story. That's what I consider an album. Now, you can release a mixtape and call it an album, but it is what it is. And that's what separates music that is being made today from music that I grew up on. You guys, and not to get too far off subject, getting back to the topic. Kendrick Lamar's performance, it was amazing. But if he had let Not Like Us, if he hadn't have done it, it would have probably been a moral victory for Drake or Drake's fans. And Kendrick Lamar couldn't have that. He had to have the last word. It is what it is, technically, at that point in time, the last word. But me personally, I felt like if he would have done other songs and just focused on his catalog, his older catalog that got him to this point, it would have been a lot better. Because overall, if you say Kendrick Lamar won this thing, you're crazy. Simply because Kendrick hasn't been this hot overall. Hasn't been this hot overall since Good Kid, Mad City. Now, you can say To Pimp a Butterfly had him hot. Damn had him hot. He's won Grammys for that. No, Good Kid, Mad City was that. And it's going to be that. It's always going to be his best work. And he's never going to top that again. Unlike Drake. A lot of people got mixed emotions about what in his catalog is his best work. We know in Kendrick Lamar's catalog what his best work is. It's Good Kid, Mad City. We don't know what's Drake's best work in his catalog, or even J. Cole. What's his best work? Because you could say Friday Night Lights, and that was a mixtape. You could say Born Sinner. You really can't KOD. Which one is his best work? Don't go solely off sales. Just go off which one is his best work. It's going to be hard to choose. But 9 times out of 10, if you ask people who are musically inclined, 10 times out of 10, they're going to say Kendrick Lamar. it gets tricky when you ask what's Kendrick's not Kendrick but J. Cole or Drake's best work, and that's what set them apart from Kendrick Lamar. Now, to perform not like us, he did that for the fans. He did that for the people. They was asking for it. It is what it is. But to mention this man in your moment told me every single thing I needed to know about this whole entire situation. From the start, he lost to me. Because how can you piggyback on somebody else's project, Future and Metro Boomin, and he had the last verse, which was a marvelous verse at that. How can you piggyback on somebody else's work to go at Drake? Why not use your own abilities? Because it wouldn't have done as much as he thought it would have. Mind you, he tried this before. When he went at everybody in the industry. He went at Big Sean. He went at Kanye West. He went at all the top rappers. J. Cole, Drake. And it didn't have that same fire that it did right now for him. For whatever reason. For whatever reason. Moving on from that point. Drake's tour. Even in the midst of this thing. Drake's tour is still going on. Now, I think this tour probably, I'm not sure. I can't really say for certain, but I feel like this tour was already set in stone before any of this happened. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure if you have, I could be wrong. I think the tour probably set up after the beef, just so Drake could test the waters and see if, his fan base, his core group of guys were still riding with him. Like I say, man, I'm still riding with Drake through and through. I feel like he won this whole entire thing simply because of what I've already stated. Overall, Kendrick piggybacked off somebody else's project to take shots. Not take shots, but just, to spark the beef. Not only that, in your Super Bowl moment, you mentioned Drake's name. Drake hasn't come out and mentioned his name, Kendrick, since the beef, since his last song. Now, he probably alluded to it throughout, the album, but that could have went for anybody. But to have that moment and to use that, that's insane. That's your moment. That's an historic moment, and it will be ever tied to Drake, which is insane to say. And a lot of Kendrick Lamar fans are so delusional, they're not even realizing that this man just used his moment to include Drake in it, and it will be forever set in stone that, hey, you perform that. Now, had he not performed that song, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we would have never known, or we probably forgot that he was beefing with Drake. We would just look at that moment as, well, it would always be tainted because that was supposed to be Lil Wayne's moment, Cash Money. You could have had No Limit and Cash Money do a joint. Dog. Oh my God. They could have had Cash Money / No Limit technical verses. And could you imagine how that would have looked if we saw Master P, Birdman, Silk the Shocker, Lil Wayne, Bun P, Juvenile, you guys know. Mystical, I know he locked up, but still, it would have been a lot better if we would have had that. And they chose this moment. They chose the rap beef over a historic moment. In the Super Bowl halftime performance, supposed to be like historic moments. You remember we got, I hate to say it, but the Janet Jackson malfunction, all in all, it was historic. We got Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. The list goes on, man. The list goes on. So, he blew that moment. Drake is on tour. Now, a lot of people say Drake doing this is corny, but this is who Drake is. If you take shots at Drake, he gonna make sure that he, you gotta end him. You gotta end him. And the fact that you keep mentioning this dude when you don't have to, is insane. He's on tour, testing the waters. He released the album right after your Super Bowl performance. And to me, he hasn't lost. He hasn't lost, and I don't think he's going to lose. It dropped on Valentine's Day, which was a good, strategic move by Drake. Had he dropped on any other day, would have been crazy. Now, he could have dropped on the start of Black History Month, which would have been amazing. But this album is strict. I ain't gonna say it's strictly for the ladies, but it just shows his range. It just shows his range. And that's why I say Drake is top 5 greatest rapper of all time. Tupac is number 1 for me. And probably Drake is number 5. And then you could put whoever you want in the middle. Fill it out. And a lot of people will hate that. A lot of people will say it's blasphemous. But, man, when you see what this man has gone through, a lot of people call him culture vulture, which is crazy, which is insane. We don't call Eminem a culture vulture, but we call Drake a culture vulture. And he has a black father. Even though he's mixed, you guys know, I don't care if the mama white and the daddy black. I don't care if the daddy white and the mama black. If you have a mixed child, the child is black. You got all these technicalities out there. They say if the mama is black and the daddy is white, then the child is considered white. No. On that paper, you're going to select African American. They don't have mixed. They have Caucasian, African American. Now, you can select Caucasian. You can select, it's up to you. But through and through, how can you call this man a culture vulture? I don't think Drake has done anything different than what Eminem has done. And that's crazy. Now, the Grammys are petty as well. We got to talk about that in the whole entire situation. How you going to get mad at Drake because he realized that everything that you guys do as fans of music, we realize, we say this all the time. The Grammys is not the end all be all. And when we going to stop giving the Grammys all the credit? Now, when Drake stops going there, Nicki Minaj stopped going, Lil Wayne stopped going, I think all the Cash Money artists stopped going at one point in time because they realized that it was a joke. And the last time I ever took the Grammy series is ironically when, if I'm not mistaken, Macklemore won over Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar when they were up for Album of the Year. And I forgot whoever else was in that. But, like, bro, Macklemore, that's a pop, bro. It's crazy. That's when I knew the Grammys was crazy. And it was over. But everybody wanted Drake. I don't know where this hate comes from, bro. Is it because he's light-skinned? Is it because he's mixed? Is it because of how dominant he's been since he's come into the industry? Best I ever had. Even before that, but Best I Ever Had kind of kicked it off. And you guys got to understand, it's a lot of cap rappers out there. So why aren't we going at all of these cap rappers who be rapping about this, rapping about that, selling this, selling that, smoking on this person, smoking on that person? Why aren't we calling them rappers out, but y'all want to call Drake out for making music with 21 Savage, making music with Future, aligning himself with the hottest artist at one point in time, Block Boy JB. Not only that, he aligned himself with McConaughey. Now, that situation turned out to be a lot different, but Drake is showing you he's the most versatile artist in the history of music, in my opinion. This man can rap with the best of them. He's shown it. He can rap with Pusha T. He can rap with Kendrick Lamar, because I ain't never seen nobody else come out and try to rap with these guys on wax. And to prove my point, J. Cole was scared. He wanted to use the concept of, I don't want to mess up my friendship. It's a lot serious. No, man. It's outside of Tupac and Biggie. Okay, Proof. I think Eminem's homeboy. But overall, outside of Tupac and Biggie, it has never spilled over into the streets. Outside of Tupac and Biggie. Now, it can get to that point, and I'm probably being a little bit facetious, if that's the term, or blind when I'm saying that, and saying the only rappers to ever, get dangerous was Tupac and Biggie, because I'm pretty sure rap beef is spilled over into the streets for countless of artists. But overall, it's never got to that point. It never should get to that point. Unless you are really in the streets and you really living that life, then I can understand that. But artists like Kendrick Lamar and Drake, they're not really in the street. They're really pen to paper type of rappers. So it's never going to get to that point. But he's won, man. Well, I can't say. I think I would call it a draw. I would call it a standstill at this point in time. I'll call it a standstill. The track list is already out. The album is already out. You guys make your pick. The artwork could have been a little bit better. It looks a little sus. It looks a little sus. It looks a lot sus. But that's who Drake is, man. Y'all know that. So, for me, overall, if I was to rank this out of 10, unbiased, I'm gonna have to say 6 out of 10. I was gonna say 5 out of 10 because it's not bad, but it's not good. But for the circumstances, I'm gonna say a 6 out of 10 because, like I say, it's not bad, but it's not good. But it's more good than it is bad, if that makes sense. Oh, for my liking and for the type of album that I enjoy, the type of albums that I enjoy, this is more predicated towards the ladies, and I understand because that's why some of the songs are named what they are, and that's what he was going for. This is more like the ladies. He already released the album for us, for the fellas, a couple of years ago, a year or two ago, for the dogs, for all the dogs. So I can't be mad at him for, shouting out the ladies and going for the ladies on this one. He released it on Valentine's Day for the ladies, and I can't be mad at that. But like I said, my personal opinion, it's a 6 out of 10 because it's a lot of songs that I know are for girls. I know it's for the women's. I know it's for the girls. I know it's for the ladies. I know it's for the ones that be in the dancing. You know what I'm saying? On the pole, dropping the low, taking the low to the flow. I know it's for them more than it is for the dogs, and that's understandable. That's why it was released on. Probably one of the reasons why it was released, on Valentine's Day. Not only that, he tested the waters. He's testing the waters over in Australia. And I wish I could see the numbers in terms of how the ticket sales are going, because I'm pretty sure, as I'm showing myself instead of this screen, I'm pretty sure he's locked in on his tour right now. I wish I could see the sales of, how well it's doing. If it's really selling out. And that'll give you an idea of what it's really like. And they said it's a play on words. It's got to do with gambling. In terms of, I need a max win. I need a max win instead of Anita max win. Double entendre. I don't think that's how you use that, but it is what it is. Dang. So you perform 42 songs? Is he doing this set on every show? So is he starting out with... See, this is what Kendrick Lamar should have did. This is what Kendrick Lamar should have been. I don't see any other beef songs on here. Because why? This is Drake's moment. And Drake is not going to add in. He can very well add in and sparkle the beat because technically Kendrick hasn't gotten over it. And he's going to go back into hibernation for 3 years like he's always done. He and J. Cole. And J. Cole doesn't have that same hype anymore as he used to when he would take a hiatus and he would come out and release music and it would go number one. Because that last project that he did was kind of struggle. And that's what happens. And this is what separates the good artist from the great artist. A good artist will stay consistent. He will cater to the fans as Drake has done, which is crazy. Drake has been on a LeBron James type run right now. From the time that he's entered the league, LeBron has been up there with the top 30 players in the league from the time that he's been in. And now, since surpassing that top 30 and getting to the top 10, I don't think he's ever not been in the conversation of, never not been in the conversation of top 10 player. Some might not consider him top 5. I still consider him top 5 right now. So Drake has been on that type of run. If you want to kind of liken what Drake's music run has been like since 2010, just look at LeBron's run when he was in the Eastern Conference, going to 8 straight NBA Finals. That's what, and in between that, having to beef with or having to go on wax and go toe to toe with some of the greatest penmanship people out there, Kendrick Lamar and Common, Kanye West, Jay-Z at some point. Who else you had? You had Joe Budden. You had did I already say Pusha T, Kendrick Lamar? You guys know. You guys know who he's been feuding with on paper. Take LeBron. He had to go up against the Chicago Bulls, the Orlando Magic, the New York Knicks when they had Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, Jason Kidd, Tyson Chandler, J.R. Smith, Steve Novak when they had that squad. Did I already say the Celtics? When they had their big four. The Brooklyn Nets when they had the whole super team, even though they were kind of past their prime, they had Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, got doggone Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Brooke Lopez. Low post Lopez, not the Lopez that we see now shooting threes. Then he had to go up against the Warriors. Not only that, the Spurs as well. So just look at that run. Compare LeBron's run and who he had to battle like Drake. In this set list, I don't see any of the beef songs on this set. And that's what Kendrick should have did. Now, I know everybody wanted to see the Not Like Us be performed, deservedly so. But hey, man, that's your time. That's your historic performance. That's supposed to be yours. Now, when I look at Drake, look at this article. And this should tell you that Drake, he's alive. This beef don't mean nothing. And the sales of this album is going to show that. Now, I saw some critics out there talking about, oh, the album just released. It's going to be hot. No. If y'all say Drake was done, his career was ended by Kendrick Lamar, there's no reason why any song on this album or the album should be number 1 on any chart. No reason. Getting back to the subject. Drake will take over Wireless Festival 2025 as its sole headliner across each day. That's a heavy hitter for you. Technically, this is a solo tour for him. Now, you read deeper into this thing, you get into the bits and pieces of what it is, this is. Now, I haven't heard of the Wireless Festival ever. This is probably my first time ever hearing about it. Why? Because it's a UK festival. And when you look at the United Kingdom and all of the drill rappers that they have over there, you would think they would have some headliners worthy of, stepping up and doing their thing. But they don't. And that's ironic, isn't it? So with that being said, Wireless Festival, here we go. They only got 3 posts. 20 years. It's been on for 20 years. That's crazy. And when did they release this? A lineup dropping. Oh, they released this 3 days ago. So we going July 11th through the 13th, 2025. Sign up now. So they haven't even released they do. They got Friday, Drake, and Party Next. Oh, is that the day Friday or is that the artist Friday? Okay, that's the day. So you got Drake. Yeah, okay, so he is the headliner for every day. 3 days, Party Next Door, Summer Walker, The Mandem, Burna Boy, Vibes Cartel. I'm pretty sure. Okay, it's a UK style festival, I guess. So that's why I haven't heard of it. But I'm going out on a limb right now, and I'm going to say Drake has had the best album of the year so far. I don't think anybody would disagree with me. If you disagree with me, let me know why. But overall, I'm saying that he has the best album of the year, man. And it's only February. So, not only that, at this point in time, and Kendrick Lamar should have been a little bit more strategic in releasing GNX, that album that he released. I don't know. I know why he released it so fast. It's because the beef with Drake. It was so hyped for him to maximize his album sales and to maximize the momentum that he had using Drake's name, which is crazy and ironic. He had to release it that quick. He couldn't wait till February because that would have been December, January, February, technically 3 months. But in my opinion, I think he should have waited until after the Super Bowl to release the album. But like I say, the momentum probably would have died down, and it is what it is. Now Drake is on tour, having a blast, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. Hopefully you guys don't see him slowing down anytime soon. I'm ready for him to release another great piece of work album-wise. Even though this joint album was okay, it was decent. It wasn't better than the joint album that he just released with 21 Savage. I think last year, if I'm not mistaken. Or the year before last. I think in 2023. So with that being said, Hot Takes Podcast, come into it.
Got a diamond, you don't realize she fine.
Lord, hold up. Gotta end this thing out the right way. Hot Takes Podcast, coming to it. And if you guys are new to the channel, new to the page, new to my TikTok, Instagram, whatever that case, I don't even use Instagram. I'm mainly on TikTok and YouTube. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, all that good stuff. Hot takes, like I say, my hot takes are not going to be crazy. They're going to have some substance. See you guys in the next one.
Got a diamond, you don't realize she fine in a new Beamer. I spend my game.